Far away in the vast darkness of space, the galaxy seemed peaceful. Stars shone like tiny diamonds, and planets spun silently in their orbits. On Earth, life went on as usual. People walked their streets, children played in parks, and cities buzzed with noise. No one noticed the quiet signals that traveled through the stars, signals that warned of something far beyond human understanding. In a hidden corner of the galaxy, a great council met. They were not human. They were tall, armored, and very powerful. Their eyes glowed with intelligence that humans could not even imagine. This was the Galactic Council, a group that ruled the galaxy. Tonight they were angry. Tonight they were planning war. "War is necessary," said the eldest council member. His voice was calm but deadly. "We cannot wait any longer. The other civilizations will not stop, and neither will we." Across the room, others nodded. Ships were being prepared, weapons were being readied, and secret messages were sent to every corner of the galaxy. And yet far away on Earth, nothing changed. The humans continued their lives completely unaware. In the sky above the planet, satellites moved silently, observing the Earth's surface. One small satellite picked up a strange signal. It was weak, almost invisible, but it carried a warning. A scientist at a research center noticed it. "Strange. This pattern. It's not natural," she whispered. But when she tried to alert others, the signal disappeared. It was as if space itself wanted to hide the truth. On Earth, people noticed only little things. A flash of light here, a strange sound there. Some called it a meteor. Some said it was just a glitch. But nobody guessed the truth. Nobody understood that far beyond their world, the galaxy was on the edge of war. Meanwhile, in the council chambers, maps of the galaxy glowed with points of light. Each point marked a planet, a civilization, a target. The council members moved their fingers across the maps, plotting attacks, planning strategies, and calculating the path of destruction. "This will be swift," said another council member. "By the time humans notice, it will already be too late." They laughed quietly. Not out of joy, but out of certainty. They knew humans were weak. They knew humans were small. To them, Earth was nothing more than a tiny dot, a fragile world that would hardly notice the storms of war brewing above. Back on Earth, in a quiet town, a young boy named Liam stared at the night sky. He loved looking at stars. They seemed endless and beautiful. Tonight the stars seemed to flicker strangely, as if they were sending him a secret message. "What's going on up there?" he whispered. But no one heard him. No one could see what he was seeing. The galaxy was alive, but humans were blind to it. The council's plans moved forward. Ships left distant star systems traveling at incredible speeds. They carried weapons designed to destroy entire planets. They carried fleets of soldiers who had never seen a human, and who would think of Earth as nothing more than a target. And yet, even as the first sparks of war ignited across the galaxy, humans lived in ignorance. People argued about politics, drove cars, went to work, and went to sleep, never imagining that the universe outside their world was changing forever. In orbit, far above Earth, a small probe picked up movement. Alien ships were heading toward the solar system. They were massive, dark, and intimidating. Their engines glowed like fire, cutting through the black of space. And still humans noticed nothing. The contrast was striking. On one side, chaos, war, and power beyond imagination. On the other side, Earth, peaceful, unaware, and fragile. It was like a calm lake hiding a deadly storm beneath its surface. As the night deepened, the first council orders were sent. Attack squads would move closer, recon teams would scan planets, and humans would remain blind, unprepared, and defenseless. Somewhere on Earth, Liam fell asleep, dreaming of stars and adventure. He could not know that very soon his world would change forever. The galaxy was awake now. It was moving, and the wheels of war had started turning. Far away in the council chambers, the oldest member looked at a holographic image of Earth. He smiled. Not because he wanted to destroy it, but because it was so easy to take. The galaxy had forgotten one simple truth. Even the smallest world could matter when the storm finally hit. And for now, Earth remained quiet. Life went on. People laughed, loved, and slept. But the night sky hid a secret that would soon be revealed. The calm before the storm was over. The war had begun. Humans just didn't know it yet. Far beyond Earth, in the dark emptiness of space, a massive structure floated silently. It was the seat of the Galactic Council. a place of immense power shimmering with strange lights and strange machines. Inside, the leaders of the galaxy's most advanced civilizations had gathered. They were not human. Each one looked different from the others. Some had metal-like skin, some had glowing eyes, and some had forms humans could never understand. But one thing they shared was clear: intelligence, power, and a desire to control. The room was quiet at first. Then the eldest member, tall and silver-eyed, spoke. "Civilizations across the galaxy grow weaker or stronger," he said. "We must act before it is too late. War is our only option." Murmurs filled the room. Plans had been whispered for years, but now it was time. Ships would be built, armies trained, and fleets sent to secure control. The council had decided. This war would not wait. A holographic map of the galaxy appeared in the center of the chamber. Stars blinked like eyes, and glowing lines showed possible paths for attacks. One small blue dot caught their attention. "Earth," said one of the younger members, her voice sharp and cold. "They are insignificant. They are weak, unprepared, yet they are in the path of our first strike." The room went quiet. No one seemed concerned. Earth had no fleets, no defenses. They had not even noticed the stirrings of the galaxy around them. "Perfect," said the eldest member, his eyes glowing. "They will not resist. They will not even know what hit them, yet they may surprise us. We must prepare for anything." Orders were sent across the galaxy in secret. Ships left their home systems, moving fast through hidden wormholes. Weapons were prepared. Fleets were tested. And every member of the council knew that the next few weeks would decide the fate of many worlds. Even as the council plotted, small spies moved closer to Earth. They observed silently from orbit, recording data, measuring defenses, and waiting for the perfect moment. To them, humans were like ants, unaware, fragile, and easy to crush. But humans did not notice. Back on Earth, life went on. People walked their streets, drove cars, and argued over small human problems. Some scientists tried to warn governments about strange signals, but no one listened. The signals faded before anyone could fully understand them. In a control room aboard a distant council ship, an alien technician looked at Earth. "They are so small," he said. "So unimportant, and yet something about them feels strange." "Curiosity is dangerous," said a commander sharply. "Do not underestimate them. But do not waste resources. We have a war to fight." The council continued its planning. They discussed strategies, fleets, and the order in which planets would be attacked. Each plan was more complex and more deadly than the last. They spoke in cold, logical terms, calculating losses, predicting outcomes, and laughing quietly at how easy some worlds would fall. And yet, one thing puzzled them. Something they could not see clearly. Humans seemed different. Not strong, not powerful, not advanced. But their presence in the galaxy, small as it was, carried a mystery. Meanwhile, on Earth, Liam looked up at the night sky again. Something felt different tonight. The stars twinkled in patterns he had never noticed. He felt a strange pull, as if the galaxy was calling to him. "What is happening?" he whispered. But no one answered. Humans could not feel what was happening around them. They could not see the danger moving closer. The council prepared for their first moves. Fleets were assigned. Warships hidden in the shadows of stars, ready to strike at the perfect time. Intelligence teams were sent to observe, learning everything about planets that might fight back. Despite the careful planning, the council could not fully predict what would happen on Earth. They did not know that humans could surprise them, that small worlds sometimes hold great strength. But for now, they were confident. Their power was unmatched, their fleets unstoppable, and the humans, completely unaware, orders were finalized. Communication channels buzzed with activity. The first strike would happen soon. And in the council chambers, the eldest member looked at the galaxy map and smiled. "By the time they notice us," he said, "it will already be too late. The galaxy will belong to us. And Earth will be a footnote in our war." Far below, on a quiet planet, humans slept, laughed, and lived. They had no idea that the galaxy's most powerful civilizations were moving against them. They had no idea that war was coming. They were blind, small, and fragile, and that blindness, that ignorance, would be both their weakness and their greatest danger. The war had not yet reached Earth, but it was closer than anyone could imagine. The first moves were being made. The calm before the storm was ending, and the storm itself was unstoppable. Far above Earth, beyond the reach of human eyes, the first battles of the galaxy's war had begun. Massive warships moved silently through space, cutting across the stars. Their engines glowed with a cold blue light, and their weapons were ready. The Galactic Council had given orders. Strike teams were to test defenses, probe weak planets, and gather intelligence. Many worlds fell quickly, with civilizations destroyed before they could fight back. But something about Earth made the commanders pause. They had not yet touched it, but their scouts were watching closely. In the darkness of space, explosions lit up the void. Laser beams cut through asteroid fields, leaving trails of fire behind. Ships collided and were torn apart, leaving pieces of metal floating endlessly. To the humans below, none of this was visible. No one noticed the war raging light years away. On Earth, only small anomalies appeared. Satellites recorded strange flashes of light. Some scientists noticed unusual readings in the atmosphere. "Something is happening," whispered Dr. Elena Morris, a physicist at a remote observatory. She looked at the monitor, squinting at patterns she could not understand. "But it's so faint. It's like a whisper from space." Her assistant shrugged. "Maybe it's just a storm, or a solar flare." Elena shook her head. Deep down she felt the universe was sending a warning. But the warning was faint, almost invisible. And as always, most humans ignored it. Meanwhile, in orbit around a distant planet, alien scouts reported back to the Council. "The planet is unprepared," one said. "Its defenses are primitive. It has no fleets, no weapons capable of stopping us. But its people are curious. They watch the stars. They notice things. Perhaps they will interfere." The Council commander frowned. "Do not underestimate them," he said. "Curiosity is dangerous. But for now, they are insignificant." Across the galaxy, battles intensified. Planets that had once been thriving were now silent, destroyed by energy beams and missiles. Alien fleets moved with precision, crushing opposition quickly. But Earth remained untouched. Its blue oceans sparkled, its green forests thrived, and its cities continued to buzz with life, unaware of the destruction beyond. On a small farm in the Midwest, Liam noticed something strange. The night sky flickered. Bright lights danced across the stars in patterns he had never seen before. He pointed upward. "Mom, look!" he called. His mother glanced at the sky briefly, then shook her head. "It's probably just a meteor shower, Liam. Don't worry about it." But Liam could not shake the feeling. Something was happening, something big, and somehow, it was connected to the distant stars he loved so much. Back in the council chambers, tension grew. Reports showed that Earth was calm, even as the first signs of war rippled through nearby systems. The council members discussed the next moves carefully. "Strike teams report minimal resistance in the nearby sector," said one member. "If Earth remains ignorant, our approach will be simple." "Do not rush," said the eldest member. "They may be small, weak, and fragile, but the universe has a way of surprising us. Move slowly, observe, wait for the right moment." In orbit around Earth, alien reconnaissance drones moved closer. They scanned cities, forests, and oceans. They watched as humans went about their daily lives, completely unaware. To the aliens, it was fascinating and frustrating. Humans seemed so small, so weak. Yet there was a spark they could not ignore. On a busy street in New York City, people looked at the sky. Some saw the unusual glow, some ignored it, and some took pictures on their phones. No one truly understood that the faint flashes of light were the first whispers of a galaxy at war. Far above, warships prepared for their next maneuvers. Explosions in distant systems could be seen faintly as lights in the void. These were the first signs of war, signals, flashes, movements. Humanity could see only shadows, hints, and strange lights. They were blind to the full picture. And yet a sense of suspense hung over Earth. Scientists like Dr. Elena Morris felt the tension. Liam, looking at the stars, felt it too. Something was coming, something that would change their lives forever. The council smiled, confident in their plans. They knew Earth would not resist, not yet. But the war was no longer distant. The first signs had reached human eyes, small and unnoticeable but undeniable. The calm before the storm was ending. The galaxy was moving. The war was spreading, and Earth was on the edge of chaos, though its people still slept, played, and dreamed under the starry sky. The first spark had ignited. The humans were beginning to notice, but not enough. Not yet, and when the storm finally hit, they would not know how to fight it. Earth had always seemed peaceful. Its oceans sparkled in the sunlight, Its forests were full of life and cities buzzed with activity. But now, small, unusual things began to happen. Satellites in orbit started to fail. Communications flickered for brief moments and strange signals appeared in scientific instruments. Most of these anomalies were small and easy to ignore. People laughed them off. Scientists puzzled over them, but governments paid little attention. Dr. Elena Morris, sitting in her observatory late at night, frowned at the readings on her monitor. "These signals, they're not random," she whispered. "Something is happening. Something big." Her assistant, a young intern named Jaden, looked over her shoulder. "Maybe it's just solar activity," he suggested. "No," Elena said firmly. "Solar flares don't behave like this. These patterns, they repeat, they move. Someone or something is out there." Meanwhile, in a quiet suburb, Liam noticed the sky glowing in strange colors. Red and blue flashes appeared between stars, disappearing before he could point them out to anyone. "Mom, look," he shouted. His mother glanced at the sky briefly, then returned to her chores. "It's probably a reflection, Liam. Go to bed." But Liam could not sleep. Something felt wrong. The sky was no longer familiar. It was alive. Across the globe, more strange events occurred. Planes experienced brief navigational glitches. Ships reported mysterious lights in the ocean. A few people even claimed to see objects moving fast across the sky, shapes that were not meteors or satellites. In the halls of governments and scientific agencies, concern grew quietly. Secret meetings were held. Experts debated the cause of the signals. But no one could agree. Some insisted it was natural. Others feared it might be something more. And they were right to be afraid. Far above Earth, alien reconnaissance fleets observed silently. They watched as humans began to notice small disturbances. Their sensors recorded patterns in the energy signatures of Earth's planet-wide systems. "They are starting to notice us," an alien officer reported to the council. "But they are slow. Their understanding is limited. They cannot comprehend what is happening." "Good," the eldest council member said calmly. "Let them watch. Let them feel the stirrings. They will be unprepared when the full storm arrives." The first subtle moves of war reached the humans, and yet they were powerless to act. Strange electromagnetic pulses caused power fluctuations. Satellites showed faint streaks in the sky, moving too fast to identify. Some scientists detected unusual gravitational readings, hinting that something massive was approaching. Even as humans struggled to understand, the Council continued its preparations. Ships were moving closer to the solar system. Plans for the first strike were finalized, and all the while Earth remained fragile and ignorant of the coming danger. In a small town, Liam's curiosity drove him outside again. The night sky was alive with shifting lights. He felt a strange excitement mixed with fear. Something was coming. He could feel it in the air, in the wind, and in the quiet hum of the stars. "What is happening?" he asked quietly to himself. Meanwhile, Dr. Elena tried to warn her colleagues. She brought her findings to meetings, showing strange readings and repeated patterns, but many dismissed her claims as coincidence. "They are too small," she thought bitterly. "They cannot see what I see. They cannot feel what I feel." Despite the doubts of others, Elena continued to watch. She tracked the signals, noting changes, movements, and unusual energy bursts. Each night brought new anomalies, growing more intense, more complex, and more impossible to ignore. Across the globe, similar stories unfolded. People saw lights. Machines failed. Strange sounds echoed in the sky. Yet the majority of humans continued their normal lives, unaware of the full scale of what was coming. The Council watched all of this unfold from afar. They noted the curiosity and fear slowly building among humans. "They are beginning to sense the storm," the eldest member said. "Good, let them watch. Let them wait. Their ignorance will make their awakening all the more." Shocking. The first hints of war had reached Earth. Humans were noticing strange events, small signs of the vast conflict beyond their world. But they were still unprepared. They could not imagine the power moving silently above them, the fleets of ships waiting, or the weapons designed to destroy without mercy. And so, Earth continued to spin quietly under the stars. People slept, laughed, argued, and loved, unaware that the first waves of war were already brushing against their world. The calm was gone, replaced by tension. The suspense grew. The storm was coming, but humanity did not yet know how close it really was. The galaxy was no longer quiet. Warships moved in organized formations, cutting silently across the stars. Explosions from distant battles lit up space like fireworks, and planets that had resisted before now lay in ruins. Earth, however, remained untouched, but only for now. High above the planet, alien fleets began to approach. Massive ships, larger than anything humans had ever imagined, glided through the void. Their dark hulls reflected distant starlight, and their engines burned with a cold blue glow. They carried weapons capable of destroying entire cities or whole continents. In the council chambers, leaders watched the progress with satisfaction. "The first wave moves into position," said one member, his eyes scanning the holographic map. "Earth is still unaware. Their defenses are minimal. We can strike at the perfect moment." The eldest member nodded. "Yes, but proceed carefully. They are small and weak, but curiosity and fear can be unpredictable. Observe them closely. Wait for the right time." On Earth, strange events became more noticeable. Satellites flickered, communications occasionally failed, and strange objects moved across the sky at impossible speeds. The humans began to ask questions, but most shrugged off the incidents. Dr. Elena Morris stared at her monitors late at night. The signals had grown stronger, more complex. Patterns she had never seen before now appeared in the data. She shook her head. "This is not natural," she whispered. "Something is moving toward us. Something big." Meanwhile, Liam watched the sky again. He saw the lights moving in strange formations, unlike any meteor shower or aircraft. His excitement mixed with fear. "What are they?" he asked quietly. He did not get an answer because no one could explain. Humans were beginning to notice just barely, but they could not understand the truth. They could not imagine the scale of what was approaching. Far above, alien reconnaissance ships circled Earth, scanning oceans, cities, and forests. "They are still unprepared," reported one alien officer to the council. "Their technology is primitive. Their defenses are weak, but they are aware now. Curiosity is growing. Fear is spreading." "Good," said the eldest council member. "Let them feel it. Let them watch. The closer the storm, the greater the shock." In orbit, small skirmishes began at the edge of the solar system. Council strike teams tested defenses, moving through asteroid fields and debris. Lasers streaked through the void, hitting distant probes, and small planets were destroyed to send a warning. Earth, the blue planet in the vast darkness, remained untouched. But the first hints of danger were felt by those who watched the skies. Across the globe, people began to notice strange lights more often. Some captured them on video, some reported them to authorities, and some even panicked. Governments held secret meetings trying to understand what was happening, but the scale of the threat was invisible to them. Back in the council chambers, the plan moved forward. Fleets would now move into the solar system. Weapons would be ready, and scouts would prepare Earth for the first strike. "They are fragile," said one member, pointing to the holographic image of Earth. "They do not know what is coming, but we must remain cautious. Even small worlds can surprise us." Dr. Elena tracked the signals with urgency. She tried to alert the world, but most dismissed her warnings. Satellite images were inconclusive, radar readings strange but ignored. The humans were still largely blind to the scale of what approached. In his bedroom, Liam stared at the stars again, noticing new formations. They moved closer in perfect lines, glowing and strange. He felt a shiver run down his spine. "I think something is coming," he whispered, and he was right. Something massive, unstoppable, and deadly was moving toward Earth. The calm of the planet was over. Life continued. Children laughed, traffic moved, cities glowed at night. But the shadow of war was stretching across the sky. The council watched, confident and patient. Soon their fleets would surround the planet. The humans would see only glimpses of what was coming. Their fear would grow, but they would remain powerless. And in the shadows of space, the first true preparations for war reached Earth's doorstep. The blue planet spun silently, unaware of the storm drawing closer. The galaxy was moving. The war was spreading, and soon humanity would no longer be able to ignore the signals in the sky. The time for observation was ending. The time for action was almost here. Earth had spun peacefully for millions of years, unaware of the forces moving against it. But now the calm was over. Late at night, the first true signs appeared. People across the world noticed flashes of light in the sky, bright, unnatural, and moving in strange formations. Cities lit up as hundreds of people pointed upward, cameras capturing the impossible. In New York, Liam ran to the window, his heart pounding. Above the clouds, massive shapes moved silently. They were enormous ships, dark and metallic, larger than anything he had ever imagined. Their engines glowed blue, cutting through the night sky. They aren't planes, he whispered, almost unable to speak. Across the city, sirens began to sound. People ran into the streets, shouting and pointing. Panic spread quickly. The humans were finally seeing what had been invisible to them for so long. Dr. Elena Morris watched the images from her observatory, her eyes wide in disbelief. The signal she had tracked for months now had a face. Massive ships moving into orbit, their sheer size dwarfing satellites and space stations. "They're here," she murmured. "I warned them," but no one listened. Governments scrambled to respond. Military satellites were activated, alert systems went off, and fighter jets scrambled. But nothing was prepared for what hovered above the planet. The alien warships were too large, too advanced, and too powerful. In the skies above cities, strange energy waves crackled. Communications flickered and failed. Planes reported malfunctions, and power grids experienced temporary blackouts. Humanity's technology, impressive as it was, seemed insignificant against the alien fleet. In orbit, reconnaissance ships moved closer. They scanned cities and military bases, noting the locations of weapons, the readiness of troops, and human responses. To the aliens, Earth's defenses were fragile, almost laughably weak. "The humans are curious," said one officer. "They watch. They panic. But they do not understand. They cannot comprehend our power." "Let them panic," said the eldest council member, his eyes glowing in the holographic chamber. "Their fear will make them easier to control. Observe their response. Test their courage. Then the war begins." On Earth, Liam's family huddled together, staring in disbelief. Neighbors shouted across streets, warning each other, pointing at the immense ships hanging in the sky. Children cried, dogs barked, and lights flickered across the city. Humanity finally realized the threat they had ignored for so long. Dr. Elena tried to coordinate a response, contacting space agencies and military leaders. "They are too big. Our weapons cannot reach them," she shouted into the phone. "We need to evacuate, but it's already too late." Meanwhile, alien ships positioned themselves strategically around Earth. Some hovered in orbit, while others remained just outside the planet's atmosphere, ready to strike. The humans had no idea how vulnerable they truly were. In the council chambers, leaders watched everything unfold. "They are fragile," the eldest member said, "small and unprepared. Yet they are awake. That will make them dangerous." Above the ocean, satellites recorded the energy field surrounding the warships. For the first time, humanity could truly see the power moving against them. Panic was spreading globally. News channels broadcast live footage, and social media exploded with reports of the massive alien fleet. The humans were finally awake, but it was too late to hide, too late to prepare. The ships above were silent, imposing, and ready to act. Humanity's first real encounter with a galactic war had begun. On the streets, people ran, unsure where to go. Governments tried to issue orders, but chaos ruled. Liam held his family close, staring up at the ships, feeling fear and awe at the same time. And far above, the council waited. They observed humanity's reactions with clinical interest. Their fleets were positioned, weapons ready, and patience fading. The first contact had happened. Humans saw the power moving against them. Their innocence was gone. The war had reached Earth's doorstep, and humanity was unprepared, fragile, and terrified. The calm was over. The storm was here, and there was no turning back. The sky above Earth was no longer peaceful. Massive alien warships hovered silently in orbit, their dark silhouettes cutting across the stars. Cities glowed with panic, sirens blared, and millions of humans stared upward in fear. The calm had vanished. Humanity was awake but powerless. On the streets, chaos ruled. People ran in every direction, unsure where to hide. Cars collided in panic. Crowds surged, and emergency broadcasts struggled to reach the frightened population. Liam clutched his mother's hand tightly, his eyes wide with terror. "They're huge," he whispered. "Yes, Liam," his mother replied, trying to sound calm, though her voice shook. "We need to stay together. We need to stay safe." In observatories around the world, scientists like Dr. Elena Morris scrambled to understand what they were seeing. Her monitors were filled with data streaming from satellites and telescopes. The signals she had tracked for months were now obvious. Alien ships, massive energy signatures, and movement patterns too advanced for humanity to comprehend. "We weren't ready," she muttered. "Not even close." Far above, the alien fleets moved with precision. Ships positioned themselves strategically around Earth, their weapons charged, their reconnaissance complete. Every military base, every city, every populated area had been mapped. Humanity was exposed, fragile, and terrified. "The humans are awake," said a council member. "They feel fear. They understand the storm is near. But they cannot fight it. They are small, weak, irrelevant." The eldest member smiled. "Let them feel the fear. Let them see the inevitability of war. Their panic will make them easier to control. And yet, there is a spark, a curiosity, an unpredictable factor. Perhaps they will surprise us. Perhaps not. That uncertainty is theirs to bear." Back on Earth, Liam and his family moved through the crowded streets. People shouted and pointed at the sky. Emergency alerts urged people to stay inside, but few listened. The alien ships were enormous, silent, and terrifying. No human weapon could reach them. No defenses could stop them. Dr. Elena raced to communicate with the military. "We need to evacuate," she shouted into the phone. "We don't have weapons capable of stopping them. Satellites, jets, nothing works. We need to prepare civilians." Meanwhile, small alien drones moved closer, scanning cities, measuring defenses, and recording every human reaction. They observed fear, confusion, and awe. To the council, humanity was both amusing and weak, but that spark of curiosity remained. On the horizon, the first energy beams flared across the sky, tests from the alien fleet. They did not hit Earth directly, but illuminated the chaos below. Buildings shook, glass shattered, and fires began to spread. Humanity's first glimpse of alien power was terrifying, overwhelming, and absolute. Liam fell to his knees, covering his ears from the roar of distant explosions. His mother pulled him up. "We need to keep moving," she said. "We can't stay here." And yet there was nowhere safe. The aliens had surrounded the planet. They were above, outside, and watching. Humanity was trapped. In orbit, the council observed silently. They had waited patiently for this moment. Their fleets were in position. Their weapons were ready. The first strike could begin at any time. "They are fragile," said one officer, small, weak, and terrified. "But they are aware now. Their fear is growing. That will make the battle interesting." The eldest council member looked at the image of Earth, glowing and beautiful, yet so fragile in the vast darkness. "They may survive. Or they may not," he said softly. "That is the question. The galaxy will watch. The universe will judge, and humanity will decide its own fate." On the ground, humans continued to flee. Panic and confusion were everywhere. The first real taste of war had reached their world. The calm that had lasted for centuries was gone. The storm was no longer a warning, it had arrived. And yet, somewhere in the chaos, a spark of hope remained. Small acts of courage, fleeting moments of bravery, and a curiosity that refused to be crushed hinted that humanity might fight back, even against impossible odds. But for now, nothing could stop the alien fleet. Earth was surrounded, humanity terrified, and the first beams of war had flared across the sky. The galaxy had reached the blue planet. Humanity had seen the power moving against them, and the story was far